Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be able to join you at Ignite 2021 today. I'm Richard Dasher. I work at Stanford University. I direct the U.S. Asia Technology Management Center there. And I would like to talk about thriving in the 21st century, international collaboration for digital transformation. We're living in an era of great change. All sorts of new disruptive innovations have changed our lives. We don't use simple cameras anymore. We're using cameras on cell phones. We don't go to the bank very much at all. Instead, we're doing more and more banking on our cell phones. The advertising industry has moved from print media to online. And even today, instead of traveling to Manila, I'm talking to you by means of video conferencing. We will have the old ways continue, but all of these new ways of change really amount to an industrial revolution. If we look more closely, we're actually in the middle of two industrial revolutions at the same time. More than 100 years ago, we had a pair of industrial revolutions very similar to the current one. First, there was the advent of machines, and then there was a second revolution when people found new ways to use machines, combining them into assembly lines. Things like standardized parts happened. And of course, there were new energy systems too. Now, since World War II, digital ICT has become ubiquitous. There are new ways to capture digital data, to store it, and to process it. That's really the third revolution. And now we're seeing the fourth revolution, which is really about using new tools to create value from digital data. These new tools include things like artificial intelligence, blockchain, edge computing, quantum computing. We have another generation left of new tools yet to appear. Now, the biggest difference between the way things are now and the way things were before is that digital data and these IC tools are everywhere. Data may be the new oil, which you often hear, but value comes from generating new knowledge by means of analytics and new responses by means of automation that are built on that data. New knowledge is now informing all business relationships. Both the buyer and the seller know much more about each other, and they both know much more about the context, what kind of alternative businesses there are, what kind of competing ideas there are, what are the bigger market trends and also market prices. This digital data has also provided new ways of measuring efficiency and impact so that advertising, employee performance, cybersecurity, business processes are all being changed by this new data. New communication tools are allowing us to interact with people we could never have done so before. And we have many more new automation possibilities. So, in terms of complexity, you start with new measurement, and then you move to new analysis. Then you move to recommendations, where the system is also analyzing the user's needs and the user's system and the user's context in order to recommend a particular solution to a situation. And in some cases, the system can go all the way to automating the response. Now, digital transformation is how you change your business in order to take advantage of the new data and the new ICT tools. So, digital adoption, the third revolution, characteristic is cloud computing. But when you change your business to make it a cloud first IT architecture, now you're talking transformation. Just adopting big data analytics is adoption. But when you have a data driven business, now we're talking about transformation. You're creating new customer experiences and internal performance evaluation that you could not do before. Your business has changed. With online advertising, that's adoption. And when you go to real-time bidding for advertising costs and influencer marketing, now you're using the new technologies in a new way. So this is characteristic of how the third and fourth industrial revolutions are really changing business. Most of these digital transformation projects involve working with outside partners. And of course, if you hire people, you could develop your own new digital business in-house, but it costs time as well as money. And there's the opportunity cost of putting your people into the development of new digital technologies completely in-house. There's another danger in trying to do everything in-house, and that's that you may be isolated from this rapidly changing landscape of new tools appearing all the time and new kinds of business opportunities appearing all the time. We really should always be looking for the best providers of new tools and new data solutions worldwide. So if you look for outside partners, there's really two kinds of relationships. First is outsourcing, and the second is open innovation. It's very important to keep these two distinct from each other. Outsourcing is when you're doing something to make your current operations more efficient. You often do outsourcing when you don't really care that much about the external technology that you'll let somebody else develop. The KPI for outsourcing are really technical quality, preferably perfection, and also on-time delivery. But in contrast with open innovation, you're investing in the future. You're doing joint development with another firm, or you're asking a startup company to do a proof of concept, a POC for you, so that your own innovation pipeline will be stronger. It's stronger through learning. So sometimes open innovation is not previously planned. It's taking advantage of an opportunity that suddenly arises, projects that are not already on your roadmap. In any event, the KPI for open innovation must include the potential strategic value of learning from the process of partnering in order to create this new tool. So it's best to look globally for partners in digital transformation. There is an intrinsically global aspect of cloud computing and all these new digital tools. They have no natural geographic borders. So you should aim for a world-class technology core and be prepared to make that interface with localized components. That's why it's best for you to partner with the external company, the external provider, rather than just let them do everything. You need to have the localization to comply with local regulations and also to be successful in your market. Most of all, you learn more by implementing this global local solution along with a partner. I want to talk briefly about a case study. Cloudian was a Japanese company at the beginning. It was founded in Tokyo by an international team back 10 years ago. Mr. Ota was one founder, he is now the president. Mr. Tso was the other founder, and he's now the CEO. Cloudian provides object storage of data. This was a new architecture for storing data in the cloud. Older ways of storing data were things like file system storage. So Cloudian grew greatly through partnerships with each of the customers that it created. It is now ranked top in the world for object storage capabilities. It ranks above Huawei and above IBM in terms of the quality of its solutions. At the beginning, most of Cloudian's sales were in Japan, but it announced a global partner program in 2015. It's now partnering with OEMs, Lenovo and VMware, as part of their big solutions for cloud. And they have over 760 worldwide resellers. In 2021, about 90% of Cloudian's business was with clients outside Japan. So this, of course, was great for Cloudian. For Cloudian, they've increased the number of employees by 4 times. They've increased their level of funding by 6 times. They've increased their customers by 19 times since they went global in 2015. And their revenue has increased by 32 times. So this was not only good for Cloudian, I think that to end up my presentation, I want to summarize by talking about how they show some lessons for global and local. So we're in the middle of the third and fourth industrial revolutions. Great changes are happening in business and in people's lifestyles. There's a rapid pace of new business development with new technologies that makes the world feel very uncertain. Response to these revolutions is digital transformation, how to take advantage of digital data and new IT tools by changing the way you do your business. Most digital transformation is accomplished best through partnerships with external firms. Startups typically bring things that are newer than you can get from established large firms. And you get more learning through a partnership with a startup company that sees a more emerging view of the world than you would just by relying on a big system integrator or provider. International partnerships are now much easier thanks to digital technologies, which are intrinsically global. And finally, early engagement with a company like Cloudian not only helps them grow, there are great benefits to the corporate partners who can implement these new innovative solutions earlier. So I think that we're in an era in which global transformation, digital transformation, is something we will continue to see for another generation. There are risks, there are difficulties, but the rewards are even greater. I would like to thank you for your attention and best wishes during the rest of the program I will be following. Thank you all.